All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there's one box left unchecked with this whole Phase 3 gearing Classic WoW anniversary shenanigans. And that unchecked box is, what the hell do I do for gear if I am not ranking? Well, for starters, ranking is so easy that if you're not at least getting rank 12, I have questions about what the hell you're even doing. You're going to see how bad it is pretty quickly. Part of the reason that is, as I stated in other videos, my glasses are being a bit of a bitch. Give me a sec here. Adjust them. There we go. Is that if you're relying on getting full tier 2 and you're going to PvP in full tier 2, that's exactly what I did back in 2019. It's really, really bad because, not because the gear is bad, but because it's not the best build you can have for your Paladin, in conjunction with the fact that it takes like 5 to 6 months to get full tier 2. Like, it takes an absolute eternity to get full tier 2, whereas the 5-piece Paladin tier 2 builds are super easy to get comparatively to the other options. But you need rank gear in order to really make them work. But I'll do my best to try to figure out how to build a Paladin without any rank gear. But I wanted to start off by showing you what a rank 12 Paladin looks like. So we have a rank 12 Paladin geared up right here. You can see that we have the rank 12 boots and we have the rank 12 gloves. And then we've got our 5-piece tier 2. I've even made sure that helm and leg plates are part of the 5-piece tier 2 set. Because these are going to be the easiest pieces for you to get. One's from Molten Core, one's from Onyxia, so now we only need 3 pieces from Blackwing Lair. We need shoulders, chest, and either belt, but preferably not belt, or the Judgment bindings. If I recall correctly, the Judgment plate, and let's see if I can scroll down a bit and see the actual drop chance, this piece of shit. These two things are kind of hard to get as far as drop chances are concerned. The Judgment bindings and the boots, I think, have a bit of a higher drop chance. And then, of course, we're not using a tier 2 belt. We're using a Belt of the Fallen Crusader, which isn't that hard to get in BWL either. Nobody wants this piece of shit. It's basically just pure Paladin gear through and through. What is there to say? Stats are not bad. You'll notice that we're on the high end of our HP breakpoint. We have plenty of mana to work with. 5,700 is a reasonable mana to work with. Obviously, we have a Reckoning Ring. We don't have the Band of Sulfuras for the mana ring. And we have the Onyxia Tooth Pendant. So this is like the DPS version. You could very easily swap this a little bit, make it the more mana Holy Reckoning variant, if that's what you want to do. But we have 5% melee hit. The reason why I prefer this build to the more mana-heavy one is because our critical strike chance is kind of taking a kick in the dick. If I swap this to the mana gear build, our critical strike chance would drop even lower, which would be kind of sus. We'd literally lose damn near 2% critical strike, which I'm just not prepared to do. What else is there to say? Attack power is pretty good. Let's scroll over to damage. 134 damage is actually very, very reasonable. You'll notice there's no Hand of Rag in this build. Ashkandi should be fairly easy to get as a two-handed weapon these days because everybody and their dog is going to be doing rank 14. And Ashkandi and the rank 14 weapons for PvP are pretty comparable to each other. So if you're rank 14, you don't need an Ashkandi. And if someone's arguing they need Ashkandi and they're rank 14, you just tell them to shut the fuck up. Okay, so this is one variant, but this is rank 12. Okay? Rank 12 is super easy to get. If you're not going rank 12, then you'd either have to swap these out for some warrior pieces, build around whatever tier 2 pieces that you can get your hands on, or do what I'm about to show here, which is the fire resistance build. Okay, so if you have Hand of Rag, the best option for you, if you're not going to rank, if you have Hand of Rag, is literally get rank 12 and then use Hand of Rag with the fire resistance build. If you don't have Hand of Rag, then suddenly we have to have a deep conversation about PvP, which is going to take up the majority of this video. Okay, so let's start off with the fire resist build. So option 1 is get your ass to rank 12, get yourself an Ashkandi, get yourself 5 pieces of tier tier 2, and you pretty much should be good to go. The other option to that, if you're like not even going to get rank 12 gear, which is insane, you'd have to swap out these pieces for some warrior gear. Like spot weld your paladin build with some warrior gear. You're still going to want the 5-piece tier 2 just because it's basically your best all stats gear you get your hands on if you're not going to rank at all. Your HP will drop incredibly low, which I really don't like the idea of that whatsoever. I don't even know what pieces are easy to get because I don't even bother with that stuff. No idea. Worst case scenario, you throw some Lawbringers on here, like Jesus. Not ideal, not ideal, not ideal. But in my opinion, if you're not going to rank whatsoever, your next best option is to actually go the fire resist paladin build. So let's swap some stuff around here really fast and start building the fire resistance. So first thing that we lose is we lose the enchants and we pick up the 20 fire resist librams. You can see our fire resist is still pretty good at 105 fire resist down here, even with our stupid Ashgandi. I'm going to assume it's worst case scenario, you're not planning on ranking and you don't have a Hand of Rag. Because if you have a Hand of Rag, then we're pretty much Gucci here, right? You can literally do what I showed in the other video. So if I type in Rag here, I throw on the Hand of Rag. The Hand of Rag, the only bad thing about her is that she only has 12 stamina. So you can see our stamina is dropping super critically low at this point. But with the rank 12 gear, yeah, we're going to be very close to 200 fire resist on our Paladin build. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So if you have Hand of Rag, this is pretty much your best option. Hand of Rag, get rank 12, you're going to be super good to go. This is a top tier Paladin build. Like, this is a legit Paladin PvP build. This is something that where you're like, oh, I only got rank 12 because I had Hand of Rag, and I'm like, 5-piece resistance build. I'm like, yeah, that's top tier. This is an S-class Paladin build. But if you don't have Hand of Rag, and your master plan is, I'm not even going to get rank 12, which is ridiculous. The next thing we know, is it Dark Iron? Gloves of Dark Wisdom. It's like Dark Iron gloves. There's a bunch of gloves. There's a bunch of like items in Molten Core that have like an absolute crap ton of fire resist on them. I think Molten Core is like level 70 or something like that. Even the Lawbringer gloves, if I recall correctly, have pretty good all stats in the grand scheme of things. And they got fire resist on them. So let's do some Lawbringer here really fast. Lawbringer's a weird paladin suit because she's actually really high on the stamina. She's got a lot of good stuff is what I'm trying to say. But there's a lot of random bits of gear in Molten Core that are pretty good, like Magma Tempered Boots, like right here. Increased healing done by spells and effects, stamina, intellect, spirit, fire resist, that you can easily slap on your paladin. And then we have to compare that to like Lawbringer. Maybe I should just look up Magma Tempered and see what pops out the other end. Item level 70, more stamina, strength, more intellect, but this thing's got like, it doesn't even have that much fire resist. Huh. This thing has shadow resist, though. That's the problem. Let's type in Magma. Magma. Yeah. Just you, huh? Damn. What about the word temper? Just Magma Tempered Boots? I guess I'm specifically in the boot slots. So, yeah, Tempered, Dark Iron, blah, 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 blah. Gloves of the High Templar, Hidden Temple, whatever the hell. Anyways, our goal is to get as much fire resist on our pieces that we're missing as possible. If that means you have to wear Lawbringers, then so be it. But you can see here we're at 5,000 HP. That's actually a HP breakpoint for the phase, I think. I guess I terminated that. So we have plenty. Yeah, it's between 5,000 and 5,400 are your HP breakpoints for phase 3. So we're at the low end of the HP breakpoint, and we're in fire resist, which is absolutely fucking terrifying. You can see we have 120 fire resist. With our fire resistance aura, we'd be at 180. There's no rank gear on here whatsoever. Feel free, if you can find like better off bits, be my guest. What what off bits you're going to be using besides your rank, your 5 pieces of tier 2 are going to literally depend upon what tier 2 pieces drop, right? So I can't really tell you what to wear because I don't know what tier 2 pieces are going to drop for you. But odds are you'll have the crown. Odds are you'll have the leg plates, and then it really kind of matters like what pieces of tier 2 are dropping for you and what pieces aren't. If you're going to go do the ranking route, Ashkandi is definitely the blade that you want. She's just good. Really hard to get a better weapon than either Ashkandi or Hand of Rag. Here's where some other weird conversations come in. So we're doing Onyxia Tooth Pendant just because it's good and because it has fire resist on it. We're doing Reckoning because we need the stamina and we need the critical strike. And Don Julio's is just a war in a can, so we're going to keep that on since we don't need the extra stamina. Theoretically, you could swap these out for a bit more fire resist, but here's the big kicker that we need to have a conversation about, okay? Dragon's Blood Cape. You could also easily swap this out with a fireproof cloak from Molten Core. Has more stamina, more intellect. You can see our intellect is going up. Our HP is now starting to drop below 5,000, but that doesn't matter because we have a crap ton of fire resist. So if you don't have Dragon's Blood Cape, you can very easily use a fire-proof cake with this build. Cloak with this build, easier to get your hands on from Molten Core, blah, 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 blah. But here's the kicker. What the hell is it called? I think it's called Wormthalac. Yeah, Heart of the Scale. So, Heart of... It'll be like Heart of the Mountain, Heart of the Scale. Yeah, okay, cool. Heart of the Scale. Okay, so... This is going to be a weird conversation to have for a hot second. So, one of the things about the fire resist build I didn't get a chance to mention in the other video because it takes too long to talk about is the fire resist build. When you get used to using the fire resist build, you'll begin to notice that you suddenly have 1 to 2 free trinket slots depending upon playstyle. All right. Normally, but this is only if you're an experienced PvPer. If you're not an experienced PvPer, I'm highly insistent that you PvP using Goblin Mortar and Gnomish Netomatic as your trinkets, and then have Swiftness Potions, Healing Potion, Whipperroot Tubers as backup. But as you get more and more experienced in your PvP play as a Paladin, you'll begin to notice that you only need to have one of the Goblin Mortars or one of the Gnomish Netomatics equipped at any point in time. And you can have this other trinket slot free for other things, most notably like Burrower Shell and John Gobber's trinket. And there's a Hand of Justice is also good. Mark of the Chosen is also really good here, depending upon what type of Paladin playstyle we're talking about, right? In the Drakova video, in the video previously I made, which is Paladin Gearing in 2025, we saw him. He had Burrower Shell here. No idea what he had for the other trinket. Maybe it was a Hand of Justice, but he definitely had Burrower Shell. If you don't have Hand of Rag, however, by far your next best option is Heart of the Scale. So you'll have to go pick this up in Molten Core. Heart of the Scale. I want to say it's got that's Season of Discovery. That's really bad. I'm not sure what its drop chance is, but it's the last boss in Lower Blackrock Spire. What's cool about this thing is I'll read it really fast since it's if you have hard to see it. Increase fire resistance by 20 and deals 20 fire damage to anyone who strikes you with a melee weapon for 5 minutes on a 30-minute cooldown. Holy crap, it's 30-minute cooldown in Classic WoW. I didn't know that. Okay, so it's 10-minute cooldown in Season of Discovery and it's 30 minutes in Classic WoW. Damn. Okay, so you might have to mix this with some other fire resist trinkets. There's a bunch of other good ones. Or just other good trinkets in general. But what's nice about this trinket is that I think I like the other one, honestly, which is... let's just type fire and see what pops up. Not Scrolls of Blind Light. It's a really good trinket. Medallion. Let's do med. Essence of Fire, I think, is pretty good. No, there's no fire resist on that thing in Classic WoW. Damn, Season Discovery is really fucking up my brain. Damn it. It's the trinket that gives you like 15 fire resist, and upon activation, also gives you even more fire resist. But you could just as easily throw something on like the Hyper Radiant Fire Reflector. Moral of the story is we want at least one of our trinket slots to be a fire resistance slot, because without Hand of Rag, that's the only way we're going to start making it up closer to 200 fire resist. And what's worse is the build can afford it. We could easily not have one of these. Like I could put on like something that doesn't have fire resist. If I have fire resist aura up with this thing, I have like 193 fire resist, but that's mostly due to the fireproof cloak and like the magma tempered boots and the fact that I'm wearing Lawbringer gauntlets. But if you want to get like a better cloak, like a more DPS oriented cloak, like a warrior's cloak, and then the next thing you know, you want more DPS oriented boots, and you get yourself more DPS oriented gauntlets. You start like, mixing and matching some warrior's gear. The moment you do that is the moment that you need to have at least one of your trinkets be a fire resistance trinket, because your fire resistance will drop super, super far down. Fire reflector, combustion chamber. Yeah, so we'll throw on a fire reflector, and I'll start pretending that we're throwing on some random bits of gear that don't have fire resist. I'm just gonna ebony flame stamina intellect damage done by shadow spells. What? That's cloth. How about no? Judgment gauntlets. Judgment gauntlets have fire. No, they got shadow resist. They don't have fire resist. Okay, we'll throw that on. What else is there to say? Magma tempered boots. I don't want judgments, even though they're probably fine. We do the marshal's boots. They don't have any. They got stats, but they don't have any fire resist on them. And you'll watch if I scroll down, my fire resist is barely serviceable now. It's only being held together by the Hyper Radiant Flame reflector on the build. So if I had the aura up, I would have like 172 fire resist on this build. Not ideal whatsoever. And you'll notice that 5 of the fire resist is also coming at the expense of the Zandalari charm, or the buff to our shoulders in Classic World of Warcraft, like plus 18 spell damage and healing. So if I remove that, our fire resist will drop even lower. Why didn't it drop at all? Like, what the hell? 113 fire resist. Oh, it was 118 before. Yeah, so now it's 173 fire resist. Not ideal. But you can see here our HP is close to 5,000. We got a pretty thick mana bar, and our critical strike and our attack power probably went up because we were swapping our gear around. So the reason why you can get away with this in the fire resist build is because, how do I put this? When we have no fire resist, we kind of are stuck using Goblin Mortar and Gnomish Automatic to really catch people and get the length of time on target to like beat them into the dirt. If we're a Reckoning Paladin, we still kind of want Gnomish Automatic and Goblin Mortar. But once we go fire resist, we can start relying on the our 40, 50, 40% to 50% chance to resist grenade and goblin mortar stuns. Suddenly we don't need a Gnomish Automatic anymore, because we can just literally resist incoming enemy stuns that are designed to get us off of our designed to get us off of our enemies. So, for example, I catch somebody with a grenade, I put a wreck bomb into them, they grenade me to try to get me off of them. When I have a 50% chance with the fire resistance gear that grenade stun doesn't stun me, suddenly I have a free trinket slot in the grand scheme of things. So I don't have to catch back up to them with Goblin Mortar or Gnomish Automatic anymore. But if we let that fire resist drop too low, then that doesn't become an option anymore. So those are basically your options for gearing if you're not going to if you're not going to rank as a paladin, is to get 5-piece tier 2 as quickly as possible, preferably the bits that have fire resist on them. And then plug the holes in your tier 2 set with whatever is best. And it's like worst case scenario, you use like Lawbringer's gloves and magma tempered boots and like a fire approved cloak. But if you can find stuff with more critical strike, more stuff that a warrior would use, stuff like that, you're going to get better combat stats, but your fire resist is going to drop super low. Suddenly you need like a radiant fire reflector or Wormthalac trinket as a swap out, and there's one other one I can't remember. It's like some 15 fire resist emblem. You activate it, and it gives you like it's 15 fire resist, and then when you activate it, it gives you 50 fire resist. You can buy it off the damn auction house. Anyways, I'll end the video here, and day is full. What else is there to say? No, that's about it. That is about it. Yep. Okay. End the video here. Day is full.